Hi everybody, I'm Ellen and this is my kitchen. I am making a Japanese curry stew today. I find that this recipe definitely for me is nostalgic, but on a day like this where it can be really cold outside, it's definitely comfort food. So again, today's recipe is Japanese curry, and it's a little bit different from your average regular curry, just simply because this curry is a little more on the sweeter side, and it definitely thickens with more time. So with that, I am going to get started with the prep work. And for this recipe, like your basic stew, you've got your basic ingredients. You got your potatoes, carrots, and onions. And we are going to stick to that. For the protein today, we are going to use chicken. So boneless, skinless chicken breast, whatever you have at home will suffice. If you have chicken thighs, that'll be good too. If you don't like chicken, you'd rather have beef, pork, totally up to you, okay? So let's get started. I have a couple russet potatoes on hand. Again, I think the beauty of cooking for yourself is truly you get to switch it up. So if there are any vegetables that you really don't like or you prefer more of, then you can add or omit. So I'm gonna use a couple potatoes, and you know, with stew, I mean, it's always nice to know that you don't have to have a ton of vegetables on hand to make this, because you're going to be filling it up with other things. So, and I personally prefer my stews to have a lot of protein in it. So, but of course, you know, you got to have your veggies in it too. All right, so here my potatoes are done. That's right here. I am going to just kind of clear up my counter here. All I want is chunks of potatoes, okay? So I don't want to cut them too small, but I don't want them ginormous either, okay? Just think of the spoonful of stew that you have. Okay, you don't want the potatoes or carrots to be so big that they don't fit on your spoon. So I have maybe about an inch or a little bit smaller of chunks, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other. Keeping your recipe simple, you're going to appreciate all the wonderful flavors in it. Okay, so potatoes are done. By the way, I'm going to use the pressure cooker today. I want things to speed along because we're so hungry in this house that we want to just eat it right now, okay? So I'm going to use the sear setting on my pressure cooker, on my quick cooker, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the dial so that the LED light sits on sear. It gives you a default of 20 minutes, so I'm going to increase that just so that I don't have to rush, you know, to get everything done under 20 minutes. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more. So I'm going to press time, increase. I'm going to give myself about 30 minutes. And if you do need more time, it will stop, but you can always reset it again, okay? So here's 30 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, searing using the quick cooker is just like having a frying pan over the stove. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to take a little bit of oil. About just under a tablespoon of oil, and kind of let that sit on the bottom while this comes to pressure. It's going to take about 2 or 3 minutes. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep moving on to my prepping. All right, so I have an onion in front of me. I am going to use the whole thing. So medium to large onion is going to be great. If you only have small ones, just use a couple of them. It's going to give you that nice texture in the stew, or in the curry, I should say. Again, I want chunks, so I don't want it too small, but I definitely don't want it too large. Okay. I mean, you know, it's been a while since I prepared this recipe, but I love this recipe. It's delicious. I don't think I know too many people that don't like it, so. When you go to the grocery store, most of the stores have, you know, the section where they focus on, you know, cultural items, like they'll have a Latin section, an Asian section. You can actually find the curry paste, and it's in a box like this. They have different, so some of them have spicy in them, you know, spicy flavors, and then they have original flavors and everything. With carrots, I'm just gonna use maybe 2.5. These are already peeled. How nice was that? I am going to use a bigger knife and basically cutting on the bias here. So diagonal cuts here. Just like this, okay? I'm gonna throw that in. Oh man, when carrots cook down, they are so nice and sweet. Just because of the natural sugars that carrots carry. So it's gonna bring a nice closing texture and sweetness to the recipe. Looks like my my pot is good to go. So while this is already popping, I'm gonna take my vegetables and add it in. I love using my pressure cooker, my quick cooker, to make stews, chilies, pretty much everything in there. Just because it's huge. It's like a 6-quart pot. You can cook everything in there, and then when everything needs to be blended, you add your liquid, put the lid on, and then let it go. You know, so easy, and it cooks everything in a fraction of the time. So this is going to cook down a little bit, okay? All I'm trying to do is soften the vegetables a little bit, give it a nice head start. So we're going to let that sit in there for maybe 5 minutes or so. In the meantime, we're going to move on to other things. I've already pre-cubed my chicken right here. So this was probably about 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. And all I did was cut it in cubes. And that's it, okay? So that's pretty much the hardest part of this recipe, is cutting up all the chicken. So let this cook down for a little bit, and just in case I forget. Okay. Set me my own timer in the back, because, you know, sometimes I get to talking and then I forget. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to make a side dish, and I love to make a cabbage slaw. Okay? And with the cabbage slaw, I already have pre-cut cabbage. They've been pre-rinsed. It's just part of my food prep that I do during the week. I cut it in a way that I can use it for various recipes, like soups and spring rolls, or in this case, I'm going to make a salad. Let me rinse my knife. Okay. Take a little bit at a time here. Grab a bowl. And for the cabbage slaw, I keep it really simple. I love cabbage and mayo. If you do not like mayo, then feel free to use Greek yogurt, or switch it up with light mayo. Totally up to you. I do use mayo in the house with this cabbage slaw, and that's all it is. Mayo and cabbage with salt and pepper. And as far as flavor goes, I don't add anything but salt and pepper. So I don't put vinegar or sugar or anything like that. Now, if you were making a coleslaw, yeah, I would definitely do that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out the cabbage. Give this, let it cook down for a couple minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, so cabbage cabbage is already chopped up, and what I'm doing now is I'm going to add the chicken to the vegetables. Kind of spread the chicken around on the bottom. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the glass lid that comes with the pressure cooker. Just kind of cover it a little bit so that I can cook it down faster. At least the chicken, I mean. In the meantime, I'm going to move on with the cabbage slaw. Let me set the timer over here. Okay. I have some light mayo on the side, and I'm going to start out with about 2 tablespoons of mayo. And again, if you don't like mayo and you want to use Greek yogurt, you could totally do that. You don't have to go overboard with the mayo, but you can definitely add more if you need. Okay. So there we go. So that should be about 3 tablespoons, and that should be plenty enough for this. And then to this, I'm just going to add some salt and pepper. And this is it. Okay, keeping things simple, guys. That way you can really focus on the true flavors of your recipe. But the addition with the the cabbage slaw with your curry is going to balance the flavors out, especially if it's so hot. The coolness of the cabbage is going to kind of like zero out the hotness, you know? It's not heat, it's more temperature hot. Okay. All right, so we're gonna set this on the side right here. This part is done. Okay, so I'm gonna stir this around a little bit. Smells so good. And I haven't really added any flavors. I haven't added salt, nothing to that. It's just the vegetables and the chicken cooking now. Okay, I'm gonna let that just keep cooking for another couple minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, now I'm just gonna give it a nice stir right here. Okay, at this point we're gonna take our curry paste, and this particular brand, what they do is they kind of sell it in either cubes or in bricks. Kind of looks like a candy bar. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Okay, so I have about 2 1/4 cups of water. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pour it into the curry, or into the meat and the vegetables. And then to that, I'm going to add my curry paste right here and just break it up in cubes, just like this. It really does look like a candy bar. I could really go for one right now. Yep. Okay. All right, so all I'm going to do right now is just kind of give it a nice stir. Again, mix it up. And the paste is going to melt down. It's going to melt down into the actual, what right now it looks like a soup or stew. And so the paste is going to kind of like dissolve into it. It will thicken, and towards the end we're just going to stir it again, and it'll be ready to go. So I'm gonna leave it here for about 5 minutes and we'll check back. Okay, we are back. And so what I'm doing right now is I am mixing it up really good because you really want the curry paste to break down so that it can really thicken inside the liquid. So I've been kind of doing this for a couple minutes now, and you can see now it's starting to really thicken. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the heat off, okay? Turn the heat off completely. It's gonna cook down again. And of course it's gonna give the paste a chance to really break down completely. So I'm gonna cover this, let it sit for another 5 minutes, and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and our Japanese curry is ready. So let's give it a nice mix. Oh, it's so nice and thick. Everything is well blended. Smells are on point. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so I'm gonna plate it up using a bowl with rice in here. I'm gonna ladle on some of this wonderful curry. Oh my goodness. I love how the carrots provide a boost of color. Look at this. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, and then of course we have some cabbage slaw. I'm gonna put some slaw right here on the side so that it could be served separately. I'm gonna give it a little bit more pepper on here. And there you have it, guys. Look at this, Japanese curry over a bed of rice, and then we've got cabbage slaw on the side. And this is what's for dinner tonight. Gonna go in, guys, I'm gonna go in. I gotta taste this. So good. Of course, as I say that, it's real hot temperature. So, gotta go in for the right away. Cools my burning tongue. So, I hope you guys like this video. Until next time, have a good one.